The next one is Esko Merontausta. He's talking about a review of the evolution. Sorry. A review of the evolution of forest cover, green spaces, and their continuity in Helsinki, Finland. Do you know what is the presentation? This one? Yes. Okay. Good luck.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Esko Merontausta. I'm coming from the University of Yeida. And I would like to invite you on a little trip to Helsinki, the beautiful capital city of Finland, to check the evolution of forest cover, green spaces, and their continuity. So a little about Helsinki. So it's the capital city. And well, I'm not going to give you a tour around the city, so you can check from the bottom of the slide some of the main attractions we have. But I'm going to focus on the population growth in the city from the 1900s, which is the main reason affecting the green spaces in the city. So from the 1900s, we used to have approximately 100,000 residents in the city, and currently we have 650,000 people in the city, so the increase has been quite big. And we are comparing today years between 1943 and 2020, and in 1943 we used to have approximately 350,000 residents. So the increase has been quite big, and it's estimated that the population will be approximately 860,000 by the year 2006. By the year 2060. So what are we looking at on the green spaces, and why are we focused on them is because they have a lot of benefits for the citizens. Biodiversity, for example, they have like social, ecological, and economic benefits. So social benefits, for example, could be recreational use. We can go cycling, running, we can go have picnic, for example. And ecological benefits, we can have flood control, noise mitigation, pollution mitigation, and even microclimate effects, so the small amounts of green spaces can actually cool down the cities. For example, now with the climate change, it's very, very important. And economic benefits, we can have restaurants and bars around the city parks, for example, so it's combined with the social and the economic benefits. So people like to go to places with green areas. And this is not only happening in Helsinki, it's a global trend. So it's happening all around the cities, and that's why I think it's important to focus on the evolution, on the green spaces. So I'm gonna focus on few main areas in Helsinki. I'm not gonna cover the whole city, but we will talk about Central Park, Viikki, and Herttoniemi. Sorry about the names; that might be a bit difficult. But here you can see the locations on the map. So Central Park is this on the left image, circled with the yellow circle. It basically begins at the end of this main city center, and it continues 7 kilometers to the north to the border of the city. So it's a very important green space in the city, the most important, I would say. And then we have Viikki, which is an agricultural area, but also has a lot of forest. There are environmental and agricultural departments of the university, so that's one of the reasons we want to look at it too. And then we have Herttoniemi, which is it's nothing special, it's just a neighborhood close to the city center, but there is still quite a lot of green space, so that's why I'm taking it into the presentation. So, and how did we do this comparison between the 1943 and 2020? We used ArcGIS to compare the pictures. We got the material from the city of Helsinki. They provide these aerial images, and we basically just delimited the areas we want. So basically all the forests and the green spaces, parks, we delimited them on the map, and then we just compared, because ArcGIS just gives you the area immediately when you have drawn the area you're interested in. So you can make the comparison very easy. And we didn't include streets with trees because they're paved, and usually mostly the yards of the buildings, they also have a lot of pavement, so they are not so open areas in the sense, for example, for water infiltration, so we didn't include these areas to the study. So here you can see an example from the Herttoniemi, which quite clearly, hopefully you can see, quite clearly states the evolution of the green spaces in the city. So we used to have, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's more or less 54% decline in the forest cover in this neighborhood. But not all bad. So in the right image on the bottom right, you can see the snake kind of shape, which is a new park built after the 1943. So it's actually connecting now 3 different neighborhoods, which didn't happen before in the 1943, for example. So now we have more connectivity in this area, even though the green space in total has decreased. So not all bad. And here we have the results from these areas I showed you before on one of the slides. So what comes to the central park, it has lost 36% of the forest cover, and there is still quite a lot of pressure on this area because it's a big green space, and many of the political parties would like to build on it more residential buildings or office buildings, so it's a big debate in the city at the moment. And then Herttoniemi, I already mentioned the decline in the forest, so 54% from the 1943. And Viikki has remained more or less the same. As I said, it's used for the educational purposes. You have the campus there, so the area has, for that reason, stayed more or less the same because they need to use this area for environmental education, agricultural education, so they don't want to touch the natural areas there. And then we have some positive development in the green spaces, which is Suutarila. It's in the north of the city. And the reason for this is because it used to be mostly agricultural area, but because of the population, the residential area spreading on this area too, you also need to have green spaces for the citizens. So the change has been from the agricultural areas more to the green spaces. Sorry, to the green spaces. And when we come to the conclusions, I would say Helsinki is still very in a good shape when it comes to the green areas. As you can see on the right side of the slide, comparison between Barcelona and Helsinki, and I think Barcelona is one of the cities with less green spaces per citizen. When you see the comparison, Helsinki has more or less 7 times the amount of green spaces per citizen compared to Barcelona. And the effects on citizens, I would say they are at the moment low. There are still many places for the citizens to go to enjoy the forests, parks, other green spaces you can find. But for the biodiversity, the effects are a bit higher because many of the areas have decreased in size, and mostly also the connectivity has been lost, even though I showed you the example from Herttoniemi where the connectivity has actually increased. But in the future, I don't know, difficult to say. It's an estimation that the population will be 860,000 in 2060. Nobody knows how it's going to evolve. But the growing population will still increase the pressure. For example, in the case of the Central Park, it might be in a couple of decades we don't have the same kind of continuity in the Central Park as we have today. And just before finishing, I would like to show you a couple of pictures of the wildlife in the city. So this also, I would say, is a good indicator that we still have quite a lot of green spaces in the city, because you can find these big wildlife, 2 mooses just casually having a Sunday walk in the city. So I would say the situation at the moment is more or less good. Thank you very much.